That's what's Welcome to Carscenekorea. I'm DK and I introduce newly released Genesis, Hyundai and Kia cars. I've done extensive review on this car. I didn't have much time for POV videos as well as me driving it. And I'll show you all about Genesis G80, what it's like to be an owner of the car and daily drive it. Tuesday morning on my way to work. This HDA is a lifesaver. What's that guy doing? It's been raining crazy. I probably throw in the footage. Anyhow, I can do this, let my hands go off the wheel. It'll just be on its way perfectly and fine. It's a very nice feature to have. Alright, let's try sports mode. Just like GV80, as soon as I hit on the sports mode, the bolsters squeeze me in. Easily flying without a problem. This car will pick up with most of cars that you will meet on freeway, and this car won't be the easy one to get. So there was some debris on the road. I made an emergency maneuver. The car was just gentle. Given its fastback design, the visibility I'm getting from the rear view mirror is not bad at all. It's not as big as that of a SUV. Well, in a sedan, I think that's as much as of a view that you'll get from the viewfinder. And I really love this quarter glass on this A-pillar that became available starting with the GV80. The mirrors have moved down from that position to here, which they call it a flag type mirrors, and that also adds on to the design cue of the overall design of a car. Also mentioned this in the GV80 video, but this may not be much, but it really helps out a lot, especially when you're driving around in city roads where the pedestrians are nearby your cars. And also when you're backing up, that extra space is really helpful. So that was an auto lane change at work. You need to have your hand on the steering wheel. Let's try one more time. Gently press it down, and then you'll see that green light with that lane change assist alert blinking. That shows you that lane change is in effect. And the responsiveness and the feedback that you get from the steering wheel is just identical to that of a HDA. It's quite perceivable. Again, briefly mentioning about this lane change assist. This feature could have been available at just the push of a button, like how Tesla does it. But according to government regulations, Genesis was not able to put that feature in. I don't know why exactly. This is some of the news that I picked up from here and there, because I mean, think about it. It's they have this full HDA available. This thing unable to make lane change, it's nonsense. They have the technology, but due to the regulation, it cannot be added in until they loosen up a little bit on the regulations, I guess. It's 100 kilometers per hour right now, approximately 60 miles per hour, and here we go. Trying out the brakes. There is no nosedive. It just stops the car gently. You probably saw it on the camera.
요금 1,400원이 결제되었습니다.
There goes the previous G80. Still looks beautiful. I love that car. Another Genesis, the Genesis that started it all, the first Genesis. And just like most of the cruise control, you apply a brake, foot brake, the HDA disengages, and you could just easily pull it back up again at a push of a button over here. It will clock at current speed that you're running, so you have to either increase or decrease the maximum speed if you are setting up again. Comfort, sport, the bolster squeezes in. And that was with the engine generator sound off. The active sound was off. I just set it to low, and again sports mode. Going to middle. And high. Immediately going back to off. You see, that's the sound of V6, everyone. So I strongly recommend that you turn off this active sound, because the Genesis G80 will give you the pure joyful sound as is. And let's actually try with the sound generator off what she sounds like from the cockpit while actually driving. Going on to comfort. Engine sound generator is off. This V6 is just beautiful. And next up is the tire size. But the question was, if you could throw on a bigger size tire, 245, 50, 20. The height, I don't think there will be a big rubbing issue, but you follow through here in front of the wheelhouse. Probably if you put on the 50, I am pretty sure it's going to rub. That's what it looks like to me. So this is 245, 40, 20 again. So probably the best bet is 245, 45, 20. And the question was the same for the rear as well. 275, 35, 20 as we know. But he was curious if he could throw on 275, 45. I really don't see any problem with that. It's not going to rub that much. It's got a giant wheelhouse inside. I don't think you could go square setup on this car. Either can you upgrade your tire size because of the front, not so much because of the rear, but because of the front. I doubt that you could upgrade to a bigger wheels. I think that's like, it's sitting at the margin right now. The next question was, what was the driving like on different terrains or different conditions of roads? So I drove all the way up to there. The question specifically asked how the ride was compared to that of an air suspension car. The most recent car that I have driven that was air suspensioned is Mercedes-Benz CLS. All the comparison that I'll be making, or the reference that I'll be making to, is CLS, just so you know. So it is different. It's not like what you would expect from that of air suspensions. I'm not going to throw on that big adjectives and big words, but they are different. But So the radar in front of the car detects the conditions in front of it and makes necessary adjustments to suspensions. And I have a strong feeling that it focuses much more on the front of the car because, well, I definitely felt the rear bouncing up much more than the front did. But again, the front felt amazingly comfortable, especially on those bumps and speed bumps and bumpy roads, potholes and whatnot. And answering the question about the massage seats, just like GV80, the massage seat is only offered in driver's seat. So this is the passengers and this is the driver's seat. There's the button for massage and press it. This is what pops up. And just for the record, Genesis never called or calls this a massage seat. It's a ergo motion seat, and not even on the owner's manual does it say that it's a massage seat. And I think the reason for that is, for starters, they might be upgrading the facelifted version or later Genesis with massage seats, because I've tried that out, the ergo seat, and it's nowhere close to a massage seat that we would expect. Making a comparison to that of a Mercedes-Benz, if I were to rate the massage level of Mercedes to be 10, Genesis would only come up to about 5, 6, or 7 at most. So again, it's not a massage seat, but think of it as more of an alarm seat, maybe. It definitely gives you that stretch, and you put it on the heated seats, it certainly takes away some of the pain on the back. It might relax you from those long drives, but again, that is not a massage seat. Don't let that fool you, just so you know. Regardless if you have the 2.5 or 3.5, they look exactly the same, except for this grille right here. Only the 3.5 has this dark, a little bit of a tinted out ish, it's not matte finish, but it's a definitely different gloss than that of the chrome grille right here. So only the 3.5 gets this, whereas 2.5 gets the identical chrome look for the front grille as well as the lower grille. There was a request about in-depth review of that AR navigation, so let's go to setup. And then again, it takes some time to get used to. It took me a while to get used to this system as well. All right, so this is it. You go to map, mapped display, map view. Then you could finally choose the 3D, 2D heading up, blah blah blah. And there is the AR. So let's try that. And go to map. Voila. And again, this is the bumpy road that you could typically find in kind of European countries where the roads is not asphalt but rather more of a textures like this. And I'm in comfortable mode. And again, it's not that feeling that you would expect from that of air suspension cars, but it certainly makes necessary changes to the front suspensions and gives you a very comfortable ride overall. So there's a speed bump. I'll just you see, so the front suspensions, the front absorbs a lot of shocks and it kind of pushes all the re-bumps to the back. That's how I kind of feel it. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but it kind of holds and absorbs most of the energy from the bump from the front, but it kind of releases it all the way on the rear, so it kind of pops up. So listen carefully and let me try that one more time with this bump. No brake. So the front suspension, it absorbs a lot of shocks and hit from the bump. I think it's a very good city driver car. But again, from the big tires, 245 and 275 in 20-inch rims, you feel a lot of things. It gives you a lot of feedback. By the way, as for the noise, it cancels out a lot of noise from the outside because of this dual press glasses, both on the front and the back, except for the little tiny flag glass and quarter glasses on the back. They are all dual pressed, so it's really distinctive on freeway and highway. All right, speed bump again, no brake. And let me open up the window and see for yourself how effective the noise cancellation is. That's with the windows open, and because I am taking the footage with the GoPro, it has the noise cancellation system integrated, so probably whatever you're hearing now is not as loud or bad as it is in reality. Again, this is some straight line. Let me show you how loud it gets. Let me put it on sports mode. How's that for noise cancellation? I was very impressed by this technology from GV80, and I think it goes the same for G80 as well. It's very good at what it's supposed to do. So just see for yourself the AR navigation system. It is hooked up with the radar system, obviously, so it recognizes the lane precisely. So keep your eye on this one. It will not go off the lane. Let me swerve a little bit intentionally, and even so, you see how this follows to the first lane and to the second lane, to the first lane again. And this is the overall quietness and comfortableness you would expect from Genesis G80 comfortable mode. And sports mode, as I've shown on the exhaust notes, there's not much of a difference because, well, for starter, I turned off the sound generator, so the V6 engine sounds the same regardless of which mode you're in. It makes the very gentle, nice V6 sound. When you need more power, put it on the sports mode. You'll fly and gun the car just like that. This car is loaded with power. I don't know if it's only for this car, but I have to engage this auto hold every time I turn off and on the engine. Probably I can do that in settings now that I talk about it. And this camera vision right here, it's really useful. And you can also change that to if you want it to blink 5 times or 3 times with that one single touch. Right now it's set at 3 times, which is the typical for all brands. Parking camera is really useful when you're going around the tight corners and narrow roads. the car is parked at an angle, so you guys all know what it feels like to open up a door. See, it just opens up on it by itself just like that. So closing the door and see how that ghost closing is effective. I'm going to gently just push it until it locks. No problem. Try it one more time. Yep. So I think that feature will come in very handy, very handy. So let's go to the rear seat again. That's how much I have on the front seat on the passenger side. And first of all, this sunshade, this is manual. So unlike GV80 where you push down the window button, then this sunshade came down automatically with this, but it's not the case for G80. But a bit of a nice touch I like here is watch when the window is nearly towards the end. It's going to slow down a little bit. You guys notice that? So that it's not a defect, kind of giving us that luxurious feeling. So try this. It's the same case for this side as well. Now I'm at the back of the car and let's test out the infotainment system on the back. So immediately it pops up with the navigation, kind of a, so I have an idea where I am at. Again, this is my first time playing around with this, and I'm just using my common sense, kind of my idea as to what it would look like. Oh wow, you can personalize the navigation setting on the back as well, except for that augmented reality version. So there's a 6 for the driver's side with the augmented reality navigation system here, but that's missing here. I'm gonna put that onto my favorite. You can adjust the volume control. Well, so it's a typical navigation system. Other than that, we can go to the climate. So you can adjust the temperature, high to low. Change the direction of the airflow. Wow, very intuitive. And as soon as you turn on the AC from the back, you can only turn off what's on the rear, not the front. As soon as you push the auto, it's going to turn on up there. And after that, you can only adjust the levels of the wind, but you cannot turn it off. Well, there's an off button here. Let's see if that does that to the front. Nope. No, it does not. If you make the adjustments here, it's connected with the one in the front, as we can see. But you can turn it off here. It will still remain the same. So that's that. You could either do it with the physical button here, or you can play around with this one here. Let's see what other ones are. So front controls. Wow, okay, so you can control the front here. Oh, and you can, it just got turned off. So you can control everything from the back. Wow. Different levels of the wind. It even shows the outside temperature. And dual air temperature zone for left and right. So you can go to the rear. Okay, so that's what it was. The front, the rear, web manual. Oh, you can scan this with a smartphone, and that it's going to show you the whole manual of how to play around with it. All right, so the map, I think map is mapped. That one, the first one we did. Weather. So most of the other stuff is, so you can pick the destination. You could actually play around here, and then that's going to go to the driver's seat. So kind of you know, tells, hey driver, I want to go to this place, and then I throw in the address. It's up there. Okay, currently available in Korea. TPEG, fuel price information. It shows you the prices of the fuel gas station nearby, how far it is from where you are. Wow, it's even showing me the accident alerts, where the accidents are. Of course, closest to where I am nearby. News, politics, national tech, IT, weather. You could even read news on the back seat. It's only text, it seems like. Okay, it is. It's all in text. But again, wow, something to play around with. All right, radio is radio, music. You can control all this. Bluetooth, Android, and Apple. USB, video. No media device available. And DMB. It's been ages since I've used this in DMB. I don't know what they stand for, but this is literally the television that you can watch in your car. So that's unnecessary. The sound of the nature. Hyundai and Genesis, they love these. All right, camera. Wow. Okay, so you can play around with the camera. So this is the rear view, and these are the side views to your left and right. So sitting inside your car, you can watch whoever is going by next to you, behind you, in front of you, and ambient light. Wow, this is very on point and very easy to use. So it's self-explanatory. Setup is just the same thing that you would find from the driver's seat. The sound, Bluetooth, navigation, display, blah blah blah, and a manual, owner's guide. So that's what we have for this rear driver's seat. Let me see if I can make the adjustments here, and tilt is all I can do. So that's a hinge that you have over here. It's quite firm and rigid. It's supposed to be. It's in a car, so I doubt that it's going to be bouncing during the drive. A little nice pocket for extra document and stuff you need, and a compartment. I like the little light over there, little touch that they did, as well as earphones and USB outlet. You can even put some stuff here if you want to. It's got the rubber finish, so I think it's meant to be. Tunnel. So that's probably the ski tunnel. And Genesis has gone through a lot of effort adding this as a feature because they have color matched to the interior. So other interiors, they come in a color matched color for this cushion. And unlike other SUVs and some of the Genesis like the third row. This is not the infrared, but rather this is the dome light. And this is the beautiful panoramic sunroof. So let me just quickly show you. Don't worry, that one's not gonna touch. You see? I know some of you guys were worried about it. So that was the rear view. One of the 18 speakers, the Lexicon premium sound for Genesis. And I wonder what that is for. At first I thought it was a little hook for outfits and clothing, but it's here. So maybe it could be, well, you can't really put your coat here with a hanger because it's going to be stuck with this seat over here. So whoever knows what this is for, please leave it in the comment below. I'm really curious. It's really sturdy and firm here. So probably I see another one over there too. So maybe there is that, well, aftermarket accessory that you can put up here, maybe connect it to there. Oh, this is just my imagination, but I think you can purchase some kind of a curtain that could separate the front row seats to the rear row seats. Well, that's just what my thought. The keys and the functions here is nearly identical to that of what we have on the driver's side. It's self-explanatory. The vented seats, heated seats, move the seat back and forth, the sunshade on the rear. By the way, it's really fast. Check this out. So I'm going to press it now. And closing. That's really fast, huh? I like that. So right now it's pushed to the right. The R button is activated. So whoever's sitting on the right side has the control over this. So I play around with this one. It's going to be in effect with these ones I have over here. And this is one of a very nice touch I like about, we all have that experience of dropping something here. So there's a lot of aftermarket products for these, but they made it OEM, flush with the color of the interior. Very nice touch. And it goes the same case for the passenger seat as well. You can pull it off. It's attached to the seat, and extra cup holders on the rear seats. And this is the back of the trunk. And there's a seems like somebody made a good use of this emergency kit. This one right here, and you can connect that to fill up the air. And underneath is this battery. It's a big battery, so they put it on the rear trunk. We've seen this on some German cars like BMW and performance cars like M's and whatnot. So that's for the black box that they have. Nice touch, moving the battery towards the trunk compartment to cancel out the balance. And on a strong curve like this one, HDA gets deactivated. Then you need a human force on a corner, tight corners like this. what they have thrown is this full-size 12.1 display. It's one of the largest ones that I've ever seen in latest cars. Just works like smartphone, so it's very intuitive and interactive. But one bummer is, look at this, I can't even reach the corner up there. Probably that room or that area is maybe more a little bit of a reserved for the passenger, but instead what we have is this dial where you could fully control everything that you could and you would via your fingertips touching the screen. One of you guys asked me to show the full detailed review of the AR navigation system. So I did make a full review video on AR navigation system, but now we're on the freeway, and so let me show you the different types. So right here on a navigation system, you could switch around to 6 different types of navigation system. Let me just quickly show you. There's some 2D, they call it 2D heading up. So this is like the very old school style, typical conventional navigation system that we will find. Next up is 2D north up. Do you need you don't need an explanation for that. The map is always looking north towards the top. Again, the next up is 3D map, which is my personal favorite. On all the navigation system, I have this on and I utilize this the most. The next up is neon white. And judging from the graphics, it is 3-dimensional. Next up, just a neon alone. And that sure is neon, right? And I'm jumping around a little bit here, but the best part about this HDA is that it's also hooked up with, again, it's hooked up with the navigation system. So the car will slow itself down whenever there is a speed camera. After past the speed camera, it will accelerate up to the point of speed limit that you have set. Genesis, and along with some other cars, even Elantra, latest Elantra has the HDA for the record. And well, it's not as smooth or gentle, let's say like on the curvy lines like this. Genesis makes this a one big curve in general, where Elantra swerves a little back and forth and back and forth. And one more thing, so most of the features inside out is nearly identical to that of a Genesis GV80. So if you watched one of the reviews on those, you probably know what I'm talking about, except for the interior design, where this beauty of white space is even more emphasized on this car than it was on GV80. As we can see from the dash panel here, the dashboards, it's wide open, and there's nothing here except for this hazard light and maybe this engine start button. They even got rid of that analog clock, which was like the symbol of a high-end luxurious car. So from neon to AR. So again, it's hooked up with the radar camera as well as the car's system in general. So not only does it recognizes the lane exactly and precisely, it shows on the road and the map and the camera, the view here itself, you know, when to take the exit. 10.2 kilometers, take an exit to the right. I've been using this ergo motion seat all throughout. There's 3 different types: pelvic stretching, lumbar stretching, whole body stretching. The ergo motion seat is only available in a driver's seat. There's nothing on the passenger seat, unfortunately. And again, don't let that feature fool you to think that that's a massage system. It is not a massage system. Nowhere or once did Genesis call that to be a massage seat. Instead, they went through the hassle of coming up with this ergo motion seat name exclusively because the purpose and the feature of this seat is that it kind of will give you a little bit of a stretch and alert on your long way drive on a freeway and highway, so you don't fall asleep. You can keep your eyes on the roads and whatnot, and it actually delivers what it says it would. It does stretch your back and pelvic and lumbar area. That was the case with the GV80 when I did the long distance drive, but that is quite useful, and it certainly does take some of the sleepiness away as well. And personally, I think it's the best fit if you use it with the third level heated seat. It kind of gives you that massage feeling. And once again, when the HDA is disengaged, because I just put on the foot brake, the number here will turn into grayish. You could just simply tap this button here to re-engage the system. You don't have to set it every time. Alright, so I had the emergency on. I was getting ready for the foot brake, but I had my heart solely to this HDA system, and it gave me the alarm and it stopped on its own. You guys probably just witnessed it. I was hoping that the emergency light would light up as well, but I don't think it did. Along with HDA, one of the best features as well is this camera right here. When you turn on the light turn signal, it shows you the camera view of the mirror here, so you could easily check the cross traffic on your whichever the lane that you're going. And this was my question as well as my friends. The camera does not come up when you put on the hazard light button. I'll just show you for real quick. It does not show both sides, okay? So as for the HDA, it's not going to make hard turns. Oh, I didn't even know about that feature. Let's try it one more time. So you guys just saw the AR navigation system also works with the lane assist as well. When you're a little off the lane, or when you're too close to the lane to your left and right, it will show up as red lights, red bars. Very intuitive. It exactly sits somewhere between G70 and G90. That's what I feel. G70 is definitely owner-driven car, and that car, you can take it to the track. Not saying that it's the best track performance car, but it will give you performance that you seek for. Certainly more than what you would expect from a regular sedan. But G80 sits somewhere in between, because I've been driving it for nearly about 1,000 miles now,